Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to Words from Our Mouths. We are going to be talking bollocks for the next hour.
We are not talking in that voice for the next hour.
No, I'm not going to do that for the next hour. I could do, but I am not going to. How are you, James?
I am absolutely knackered. How are you, Pete?
You say that every time.
I'm always
fine.
tired.
Yes, but I'm fine. You know what? Happy for the listeners. Let's be positive. I'm absolutely brilliant. I've had a wonderful day. I've done nothing.
I lost a fingernail again today, or lost
Another one?
It's the same one that was regrowing.
Oh, that's
the new,
even worse.
The new little bit that was regrowing decided it no longer wanted to be attached.
But losing two fingernails from the same finger makes you sound like some sort of mutant.
I am some sort of mutant.
I cannot disagree.
You cannot dispute that claim.
What have you done this week?
I got stopped by the police again.
Again? Same reason?
No, apparently, initially they tried to say that I was driving like I was drunk, and I replied if I was avoiding the pothole back there. And they went, "Oh, okay. Do you know how long we've been following you, sir?" And I said, "Yes, since this junction back here for about a quarter of a mile. You were behind the red car, but then you came behind me afterwards." And he went, "Okay, so you were paying attention while you were driving as well." He didn't say that, but you could see it in his face. And they said, "The reason we stopped you is you've got a number plate light out, and that's an MOT failure." And so I replied with, "No, it's not. I have less than 50% of the lights out because I have 3 lights in the back of my car. I left the 50% out, which is not an MOT failure. I don't MOT. I'm not an MOT tester, but I work in an MOT station, and I do MOT repairs for a living." To which he went...
But you know, is the point,
Yeah.
you know.
To which he went, "Just drive better next time," and walked off. For fuck's sake.
Obviously, he was having a slow day. It's fine. Everybody wants to add
It's my
bit
car.
of excitement to the day. It's what?
It's my car. I have a stupid boy racer car, don't I?
What do you drive?
A Toyota Celica.
Is that a stupid... I don't know what that is.
It's started life as a fairly sensible car, but then my dad put a body kit on it, and a big spoiler, and a big loud exhaust, and lowered it.
Why?
Because we did it in about 2002, and it's very... Actually, no, the car's not old. It was about '06 we put the body kit on, and back then that was the style for modifying cars.
Yeah, but why modify your car in the first place?
It's like a peacock. Peacocks have feathers. We have...
You're such a
body kits.
fashion over function kind of guy, and it makes me want to punch you in the chin.
See, this is the reason I used to have 2 cars.
What, one for driving around and saying hello ladies in?
One which is a daily, and one which is... No, because let's face it, when you drive a modified car, all you attract is other people into modified cars, so it's just, "Hey, Mike's."
Yeah, and most people look at you thinking, what a dick.
Yeah, but they can't look for very long because they can pass really quickly.
And then get pulled over by the police so that they can say, what a dick.
I never speed on the English roads. We've
got you on record saying you go past really quickly. So you're talking about the people who were like spotting lorries on the motorway, right?
Yeah, if they're doing 2 mile an hour down the M5, I'm gonna go past quickly.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. It was contextual fast, not just breaking the speed limit. There you go. You are now legally absolved.
I'm accelerating very hard to 30 mile an hour. I do that actually. I'm really bad for that.
That's so for petrol. I hate that.
Oh mate, last time I checked my MPG, because it doesn't. My car's that old. It doesn't tell me like the modern cars do. I was getting about 8.
Oh really? The last time I got anything that low was... I don't remember I know mine's like 49 or something. So
The car I had beforehand, I averaged 50. That was a diesel though. But then 2 cars ago, I was averaging 6.
Wow.
But then that Mini was older than... Oh no, it was one...
a Mini? I thought you were going to say you were driving a tractor or
No,
something.
it was
6 miles per gallon.
It was a 1967 Mini.
Did it have a big hole in the engine as well?
No, it did for the big turbocharger I put on it because I modified that engine as well.
Oh wow. Okay, so you just can't leave your stuff alone.
No, I can't.
Different.
I'm a mechanic. That's what I do.
I'm going to ask you straight. I'm going to ask you straight on, and I'll believe you whatever you say. Do you do it because you're compensating for something?
No, I don't know what I do it because it's fun.
Okay.
I mean, you saw my pirate
That's
car.
fine. I saw what?
You saw my pirate car.
I did see a pirate car, but that was for a reason. That was for a charitable event, and everybody was doing. No, was it just you actually?
No, there was 49 other cars.
Okay, right, yeah. So everybody was doing something similar. Everybody had a bit of a wackiness going on.
It was called
That's
the Wacky
fine.
Rally.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
Wackiness was the best adjective you could have used then.
Wait, yeah, it was totally by accident as well. So
For those,
I was just sort of going with wacky races.
But so for those listeners who are listening very confused, I did one of these charity Top Gear style rally things where you get a banger, 250 quid ours was, and you have to drive it across Europe. I cut a hole in the roof of it and put a 8-foot mast in it. Almost hit a bridge at one point, and then we covered it in wood effect and had people write on it to raise money. We raised 2.5 grand for a local hospice, which by the amount of money I spent on petrol, insurance, the car, the flights home, and everything else, I could have given the charity 3 grand and it's been better.
And not had the experience.
Because I ended up having to put that much into it. Between the two of me and my cousin today, we ended up putting nearly best part 3 grand into it. But it was awesome.
I think I've got a picture somewhere of that, or you'll still have pictures.
I have
of it.
lots
And if
of
we can get
pictures
hold of them, I'll put one on the YouTube video.
Christ. I dropped my phone.
You dropped your phone. You said you weren't holding anything.
I wasn't, and then I picked my phone up.
Well,
then I
put it
dropped
down.
Well, I have now on the floor.
Focus. Come on now. I will put a picture of the pirate car on the YouTube video for anybody interested. It will appear at a random point in the video, not necessarily while we're talking about it, so make sure you're paying attention there.
Well, I've got a lot of photos, so you do like one now and a few little, but then every now and again it's like, surprise! Ooh.
Surprise pirate car. And then we'll include that in every video from here on after. The surprise pirate car. The first person to spot the timestamp wins a prize.
No, they don't.
That prize is... No, come on, it's a prize.
What is
and
the
prize is, I will publicly announce, and by publicly I mean on the next podcast, the name of the account that tells me that they've spotted the timestamp for that surprise pirate car.
Right, we'll make this a bit more official. It has to be on YouTube to comment, because that's where you're going to see it. You can't see it on YouTube and then text it to us if you have our number or whatever.
Yeah, so you have to make the comment there, yeah. And also, if you listen on Spotify or any of the other places, and then you try and get there to find it and someone else has beat you to it, then that's just tough luck.
Also, don't try and comment while driving. We do not recommend that. You shouldn't be watching the video while driving anyway, but...
I mean, there isn't much to see on the video. I think I put a squiggly line and 2 stolen from Google Images mouths on there. It was a very professional job, actually.
I was listening to to other podcasts this morning. Today's my podcast day, normally Thursdays. I end up listening to them, and then we record.
Oh, is that for inspiration?
It just happens to be... I tend to listen to them. One comes out Tuesday, one comes out Wednesday. But I end up listening to both on a Thursday because I forget.
Oh.
Because one's in Australia, one's in America, so by the time they come out for me, it's weird times, and I end up getting it at like 3 o'clock, and I'm like, I don't want to start now, because although it's only an hour long, I listen to like 10-minute bursts at work while doing stuff. I want to get it all in one day, I also forget where I was. Yes, I'm terrible like that. I can't go more than a day without forgetting where I was.
You can't go more than 10 minutes without forgetting where you are. I'm not surprised.
Who are you? Who am I?
I'm not sure on both accounts.
But
neither is anybody else.
So yes,
what were we talking about?
I don't know, today was my podcast day. I remember that much, and I've actually forgotten what we were talking about.
Something about... Oh, it was about the squiggly line as the video, wasn't it? You said you were watching listening to another podcast before.
Yeah, and then ours suddenly came on, because obviously I follow us on Apple Music, as everybody else should, or Apple Podcast, whatever it is. And so it went through the Misfits podcast, which I listened to first. No, Goons first, then it went to the Misfits. And then suddenly the intro music for ours came in, and I forgot we were putting intro music on.
And you were like, oh, what's this funky song? This
is really good. Oh, God, that's my voice.
Yeah, any of our voices is probably going to put any listeners off, actually.
I can't listen to it.
You can't listen to yours or mine?
Both. No, yours is fine. I'm used to yours.
But I'm used to mine now. I've heard mine played back so many times now that I don't even register it's happening anymore.
So I got like 15 minutes into it, but then I could also remember the conversation. I was also like predicting what I was going to say, which is stupid because I said it, so I should know what I said. And I just annoyed myself.
At the same time, you are very sort of archetypal in your conversation flow as well, so I can predict what you're going to say as well. But the fact that you don't remember and still played a little game with yourself, I bet I say this next.
It's pretty much what I did, which is why I thought I should stop listening to this, because this is the descent into madness. This is where it starts.
No, it's not. It's this descent into self-critiquing, which is the road to bettering yourself. And you can write that down and put it on one of those... inspirational quote things.
What, 2 people stood in silhouette in a field?
Yeah, but not holding hands and facing away from each other.
That little heart at the bottom is normally found on Pinterest.
Yeah, there you go.
And the websites are available.
We've made the inspirational quote.
That's going to do better than our podcast will.
A lot of things do better than our podcast, James.
So what have you been...
Polio does better than our podcast.
Polio's been eradicated.
And it's still doing better than our podcast. This is the point I'm making.
What have you been doing this week, anyway?
Did we not get round to
No,
me?
it was
I've
just
not.
me chatting about being
okay.
stopped by police and then me having bad decisions in cars and me having terrible life decisions and spirals.
Yes. Well, this week I've streamed an awful lot.
Yes, you did. You streamed to your sister and you were really unorganised and it didn't work properly.
Yes, it was very unorganised. It was quite typical of what we were expecting to happen. We were expecting things to go wrong. Not quite so catastrophically at the start.
You both installed a different game.
Well, no, we both installed the same game, but different versions of the same game.
You couldn't play together.
No. It's okay, we'll fix it. We fixed it now.
Did you ever get it fixed? I went to bed not long after you streamed, so I started.
The resolution was we didn't end up streaming together for the night, but we now both have both versions of the game installed just in case.
You keep launching one, then you'll both swap over, then you'll both swap over again.
It's okay. No, we've settled on which one we're playing, and we've planned ahead for the rest of the series that we were planning on playing as well. And we've established that there are no alternative versions that we can get confused with, and that's fine.
She's going to install like the Japanese version or something like that.
I don't know how she's going to manage that by accident, but yes,
What's
something like that will go wrong.
You'll be in PAL region, and she'll be in the other region. Do you remember when region locking was a thing?
Is that not still a thing?
No, it doesn't exist anymore. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. Pretty sure it doesn't
I
exist.
thought it did with like DVDs, but who watches DVDs nowadays? You can region lock. Well, your Netflix is region locked, isn't it?
Well, yes and no, because it's not region locked. It's just basically the region you are. If you put a VPN on, you can watch whatever you want.
Yeah, I know, but it's technically region locked.
Yes, but it's not.
Well,
like...
you can break Legion rocks. You can break. Oh my god.
Break region lock.
You can break region locks on anything. I broke it on my DVD player.
Yes, but then...
That was years ago, by the way. I don't still watch DVDs. Or do I? I don't know.
That's one of those ones that you're like, oh, I'm gone on holiday this week and I bought you this PlayStation game, put it in. Oh, it's not working. Then you'd have to go get your console chips. And let's face it...
Which was a better idea anyway, because getting chipped games was cheaper.
See,
but also didn't support the development of new games, which might be why it's like 65 quid for a game for the new consoles.
It's stupid. I don't think I ever chipped a console. That's a lie. I didn't chip a console. I had one of those for the DS, 3DS, DS. I don't know, one of the two. You could put
memory cards with everything installed.
Yeah, the memory cards with everything installed on. Although it wasn't everything installed on. I got the memory card and I installed stuff on them.
Well, yes.
But that was the closest I ever came to chipping anything.
I owned a chip. Well, I didn't own a chip PlayStation. I did the workaround where you remember Kinects. It wasn't quite Lego. It was the
Kinect, it was the better version, I find. But...
The better version, yes, the more versatile version of Lego. We used to use a small piece of that to, when the disc tray goes down and it hits a button.
Yeah.
The disc lid on the old PlayStation. If you had the disc lid open, but force that button down so that the disc span, it would function as a chipped PlayStation then.
Really? What, PS1?
Yeah, that's the PS1. Yeah, that's how we got around it. So we used to shove that in the corner of the disc lid to play our library of chipped games, and then take it out to play our library of non-chipped games.
All I can see just hit in my head now is the little pins that hold the disc in failing, and the disc just spinning out like Final Destination style, cutting through the curtains.
That never happened, and I never considered it to be a danger. But now that you've said it,
it's really not a danger because. Even now, you go to that same PlayStation and you're going to lift the disc out. It's stiff in those locks, but
maybe. Although we could solve that by facing the PlayStation the other way.
But spinning discs don't follow the laws of physics. They go whatever direction they want. It's like a bee.
I know, but there's the disc lid, the disc compartment lid would be in the way. It'd stop me.
I'll cut straight through it, mate.
It would not cut straight through it.
It's like a saw
Stop
blade.
trying to scare me with your pseudo physics.
It's like a diamond saw blade going. You've seen Final Destination.
I have seen. What the hell was that? Did you hear that?
What was that?
I have no idea. I think a door got closed.
I think someone's trying to start a Land Rover in your house.
Maybe something rattled. I don't know what rattled.
Land Rovers.
Oh, it was the hook on the back of the door.
Okay.
I've never noticed that before.
Completely going back to what seems to be a weekly topic for us now, old games. I remembered one of my favourite ever PlayStation games.
Go on.
Hogs of War.
Oh, what a brilliant game! Interestingly enough, one of the few games we played that was in our chipped library as well. We've come full circle.
But it was just one of those ones. It was the perfect cross between Worms and 3D, and you could put mustard gas on pigs. And as a child, I found that hilarious because you put mustard on hot dogs.
I was. I don't know how old I was. I'm probably quite old to be amused by it, but I was forever amused by the way they pronounced bazooka in the tutorial section.
I can't remember that. How did they pronounce it?
Bazooka! Which isn't that funny now, but back then it was, haha, the pig is saying bazooka, and it means bazooka, and it's funny. It was a great game, though.
You don't get that in games anymore. You get some humour and stuff.
And
It's
to be
just
fair,
not
you
the
probably
same.
don't get what you got in Hogs of War because it was so racist.
I don't know if it was racist.
Well, it wasn't
It might have
racist.
been
It
bordering.
wasn't preaching race hate, but it was, very stereotypical.
Stereotypical, I'll accept.
Yes, but that's considered racist nowadays.
We are the Ally goodbye and they are the Germans.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And there was, very stereotypical accents for portraying each country, performed by people who were not from that country, which is unacceptable nowadays.
Am I misremembering, or were there French that used to run away?
I think they all ran away at some point.
Was it okay?
I think they had special dialogue for the French ones to run away, though, so I think that would be what you were referring to.
Potentially. Oh,
It was a
dear.
good game, though.
So,
Well remembered.
it just came into my head the other day. I was like, that was a good game. It wasn't.
I always find that like one old game reminds me of another old game because I must have played them in a cycle or something like that. So Hogs of War reminds me of Earthworm Jim.
Didn't know that one. Another game I absolutely loved on PlayStation 1 was called Wingover, which was an aeroplane one, or dogfighting one.
I never really liked aeroplane stuff.
It was weird.
I always found flying mechanics in games to be tedious.
It was weird. It was almost like it was like a 4v4. So each plane would fly in. It'd be a tournament system. So you'd be in like the last 16, last 32, last 16, semi-finals, finals, or I might have missed a step in that. I don't know. Anyway, you'd go through all that, but you could upgrade your plane each time. But you just go different locations each week in the game, and so it was almost like a game show, but you shot each other down.
I mean, it's a high octane game show.
But I played it enough to the point where I started to recognise the characters in it, and the moment I'd start playing, because I was really bad for washing memory cards. I'd put them in my pocket and then they'd go in the washing machine.
Why would you put them in your pocket?
I don't know, in all honesty. What I tended to do is I had a PlayStation at home, this is where I sound really posh, and a PlayStation at my nan's.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, no. You see, we carried the PlayStation from home to our nan's.
What's really bad is I had 2 copies of Wingover, so I didn't even have to take the game with me.
You privileged son of a bitch.
We picked
Okay, no, we'd fight over the PlayStation because we were all interested in different games, and then once we'd finished fighting over it enough to pack it away to take it to Nan's, then we'd fight over who got to play it on Nan's big telly as well, because Nan had a bigger telly than us, because we were poor.
See, the reason my nan ended up with one is I had one, but then my cousins had one. But every other weekend, we'd always go over to our nan's together. And it was almost like, it started off, I'd take mine one week, they'd take theirs the next week, so we always had one to play between us. But then
And then Nan got sick of you carrying PlayStations and that. I was like, I'm sick of this. I'm buying you all a PlayStation to keep here. Your Nan's
Why is
kind
she
of
Irish?
I don't know. Everybody's Nan is Irish.
She's not Irish. She's from Plymouth.
That's
But,
as far away from me as Ireland is, so...
No, it's not. Ireland's a lot closer
Yes,
to
it
you.
is. No, it's not. Well, Ireland's a lot closer to me.
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, you might be right.
If I want to go to Northern Ireland anyway, I have to drive up to your neck of the woods to then go across.
My neck of the woods.
I don't want to say the town you live in. It's up to you to say that. But
I don't know what town I live in. I live in the sort of nether zone between towns.
you live.
We don't
up
even have a
in-
postcode. When we order things, we just get a sort of lost man in a horse and cart throwing stuff at the top of the street, and everyone just goes and opens the package to find out whether it's theirs or not.
It never is because they never ordered anything. Do you even have the internet?
No, I have to put all these recordings after we've finished our phone call, because that's how we're recording it, onto a little flash drive and post it to you.
Via carrier pigeon.
Well, we use the owl system from Harry Potter, which we've all just read in our town, by the way, and we think it's the greatest new book ever released.
Do you have one book you share between you?
The one, yes. What we do is we take it in turns going to the field, which isn't really a field, but there's a bit more grass there than there is anywhere else. And the book is placed on a pedestal, which is actually like a dead tree. And we all read a page and then go back to the back of the queue, and then we all get there again. Unfortunately, not all of us can read as well. So what happens is we have to go in pairs, and by pairs I mean we all go up to someone who reads it to us.
Well, I say, I'm going to stag you now, Pete. There's 7 books in the series.
There's 7
Plus,
we're only on chapter 2.
If you want, you could include Cursed Child in that, which is another one. And then there's Fantastic Beasts and Quidditch Through the Ages and...
What's Quidditch?
Oh, yeah, you haven't got to that yet, have you?
Hang on, the boy who lived is the biggest revelation.
Wait, do you even know he's a wizard?
What? Can you put spoiler tags on this? This is unbelievable. Oh my... Jeremiah is going to be so thrilled when I tell him this.
Jeremiah?
I'm making out like I live in some sort of Amish cult.
I say, do you do this while working in the mines? Like, between working in the mines?
Between milking the cows. I nearly said milking the chickens then. That's not what I meant.
This chicken milk tastes weird. That's blood, Jerry. You pulled it too hard again. You split the chicken in half. Go get another cow.
What's wrong with chicken milk? It's like milk from any other animal. Pigeon milk's nice too.
Chickens don't give milk. They're birds, not mammals, you idiot.
It depends how well you please that chicken.
That's not milk. How many barns you put up this year?
7.
Have you ever heard of this thing called the coronavirus?
What? Speaking
of coronavirus...
Oh, can I just put a disclaimer here? I don't really live in the back end of nowhere.
Yes,
I do have the internet. I have read the Harry Potter books. I've not seen all the films, interestingly enough.
How many animals are in your house right now?
Oh, no, you can't bring that into it. That doesn't count.
There's about 28.
No, there's like 11.
Oh, that's so much better.
Well, I've not even counted the fish.
It's 28. There's 17 fish.
10 fish. Oh, no, actually, no. A lot of the fish have died recently, actually.
Stop killing fish.
I'm not killing them. They're not mine.
There's everybody saying they're not mine. There's nobody feeding the fish. Is that the problem?
I don't know.
My fish is dying.
Oh.
He's called Goose.
And soon you'll be able to say he was called Goose because he'll be dead. Isn't that a nice thought?
He has a friend called Maverick.
Goose and Maverick sitting in a tree. That's why they're dead. You put them in a tree.
See, I never know with you. Do you know where Goose and Maverick come from?
No.
See, how can you not know that?
I don't know a lot of things.
It's
What's
Top Gun.
I've never seen... I don't watch films.
How can you have not seen Top... I do know you watch films because you go and watch films with Charlotte every now and again.
Yeah, but okay, but let me just point out that the kind of films I watch with Charlotte are these romantic comedy things.
Top Gun has romance in it.
I wouldn't know.
It's not a romantic comedy. It's not a romantic film at all. It's a great film, though.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Tom
I
Cruise's,
probably will never watch it.
Tom Cruise's character, his call sign is Maverick, and his co-pilot or his weapon systems operator's call sign is Goose. And there's a thing in Plymouth, Tavistock actually, which is a town near me, called Goosey Fair. What they used to do on the 3rd Wednesday of October, they used to bring the geese down from the moorland into the market to kill them for Christmas.
Okay, this sounds even more countryish than the world I invented for myself, but you're not even making stuff up.
See, they don't walk the geese through anymore, but they always used to have a fair to celebrate Goose, and everyone would buy their stuff for Christmas and all the presents and all your... It'd be like the last market before Christmas sort of thing.
So this is nothing to do with Top Gun?
No. But one of the things you could do then now is win goldfish, which at the fair. So I won this fish, and we were like, what do we call him? Oh, let's call him Goose, because I want him at Goosey Fair. And then we got my friend and called Goose and Maverick, Top Gun.
Okay.
See, there's logic in naming a fish.
There is logic in naming a fish, yes. It's not logic I understand, but, you know.
Also, there was an 80% chance it's going to snow today, and I'm looking outside now, and it's raining.
Well, you know, we've had basically straight rain for the past 6 weeks. But there was one day, I think it was a Tuesday, I remember because it was glorious. And the weather app told me we had a 11% chance of rain. So we were all like, yes, we can get some washing done and hang it out. It rained the entire fucking day.
No, right now it's bloody cold down here.
We're at 2 degrees.
We're this is when I'm not as cold now, isn't it?
Well, we're northerners, we don't get as cold as you, so...
Ha! Oh, it's 4 degrees, but it feels like -1.
I never understood that.
The
temperature is this, but it feels
I
like
actually
this.
know this. The air temperature is 2. But if you allow the wind in it as well, the wind will chill you down so it feels like it's -1. Because the still temperature's 2, but obviously wind makes it feel colder.
Well, I learned something today.
You've forgotten something else, haven't you? Just
Most likely.
one thing in and then the other. It's like you're going to stand up in a minute like, oh, I can't walk. Dump.
Well, I hit record 27 minutes ago. Don't know about you. And I can't remember what's been said for most of that. So, does that answer what you were saying?
Yeah, but I can't remember anyway. Like, we talked about how I can't remember what happens.
Yes, we did. But we both remember that, interestingly enough.
I can't remember what I was going to say then. I forgot what words I was saying between brain and mouth then.
So you said...
I started to form a sound and the brain was just like, abort, abort!
That's unfortunate.
Right, yes.
I believe you were going to... Go on, sorry. Go on, have you remembered?
Yes, I made a topic this week and we pre-checked on it to make sure we could discuss it and everything. Coronavirus and the vaccine.
Yes, topical. I mean, this is about as modern as you'll get with
This is cutting-edge news. We're not talking about the PlayStation 1. Are you going to get the vaccine?
Am I going to get the vaccine?
If
Probably
you get
not,
offered it.
no.
Why not?
Because I view it in the same way as I view the flu, and I don't get the flu vaccine.
What if you were told you had to do it to be able to return to a normal life? Would you be okay with it?
Yeah, I'd be fine. If I was told to have the flu vaccine, I'd have it.
What
But
would you do if
herd immunity protects me. So, what do you say?
But then if someone said, right, we need people to help develop the herd immunity.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. If I was instructed to do so for a reason, I would get it. But the way I see it is I'm not a vulnerable person. So the vaccine should be saved for the vulnerable people.
Yeah, no, I accept that. Because I'm all for getting it. Again, I'm not going to run out and go, I need to get it this second. But when it comes around to my turn, and they're like, do you want to get stabbed? Yeah, right then.
If it's offered to me, then I'll make a decision then.
It's like,
but as it stands, I'm not after it.
It's like I got the flu jab this year. I don't normally get the flu jab, but my nan that I live with, she's 70-something, old. And so the district...
A loving relationship you have there.
So the district nurse comes and gives her flu jab this year. As it happened, she came to ours at like 6 o'clock at night. She was supposed to finish at 4 apparently, but was running behind. But once... one of the people she was supposed to go to didn't answer the door. So she had a spare dose. But once they've come out of their fridge and she's like started doing her journey with them, they can't go back in the fridge at that point. They've only like lifed for like 8 hours, whatever it is. And it was at like 7.5 hours.
Did you find out who that person was that was supposed to get it, and are they still alive?
No. It's the district nurse. She's not going to tell me.
Well, I know, but if you... I don't like the thought of it, but I want you to consider the possibility that you might have been responsible for somebody else dying there.
No, because they came to me last, and the nurse said to me, look, do you want the flu jab? And I went, no, because it cost me like £8, and I don't have £8 at the minute. And then she went, either you give the flu jab, take this jab, or I'm going to put it in the bin. I'm not going to charge you. All right, stab me.
Oh, for free as well. Oh, well,
yeah, exactly. She was like, I've got it.
I mean, I'll never turn down a freebie. You can stab me and give me measles. I'll take it for free.
Can I stab you
I'm a
with
sucker
this
for
knife?
a bargain.
Well, I say, can I stab you with this knife? And it won't cost you a penny.
I mean, it won't cost me a penny. Bargain. Free stabbing.
You just
as it stands, we're just about on the cusp of it, but I can still get treated on the NHS for free for that stab wound as well. So yeah, go ahead.
If you make it to the NHS. This is a question I've always...
Yeah, but... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go. Mine was a stupid question. I'll tell you in a minute.
I was only going to say something stupid anyway, so let's have your stupid question.
Would you rather be stabbed or shot?
That depends on where.
Right, so, I'll set the scene. You're in a nightclub.
I'd rather get shot in Asda, but stabbed at work.
I know you'll never go to a nightclub, because it's you, but you're in a nightclub.
I've been to a nightclub.
Would you go to another one?
No.
There you go then. So you're in a nightclub. You've gone to the toilet. You haven't wanted to touch anything because it's disgusting.
Right.
Someone comes out to you and they pull a knife out of their trousers in one hand and a gun in the other side and says, "Which one do you want?" In your leg.
Well, at that point they're holding two things, so that's when I pull their trousers down and run away as they struggle to get them back up.
And they get stabbed and shot at the same time.
Yeah, so both, please.
What? So you're going to stab you in the leg. It's not.
Hang on, when you say which one do you want, am I to make the assumption that they're not offering me to use one of them in a duel? Which one are you having, pal? I'll fight you with either.
I'm going to stab you or shoot you. Which do you want?
Oh, right. In that situation,
and let me finish. It's going to be a non-fatal. Although it's not going to go through a major blood vessel. It's going to be in the leg, in the fleshy part, or in the ass, or something like that. So it's going to hurt, but you're not going to die immediately.
Okay, well, if that's the condition, I'd rather be stabbed. Because if I got shot, there's a chance that the bullet can end up being sunk somewhere really painful forever. Whereas if I get stabbed, there's a much better chance of it being removed and healing.
See, my issue with this is I'd rather be shot. Because when a bullet leaves a gun, it's red hot and burns all bacteria off. That knife... He could have stabbed 8 people before you.
Well, that would be evident, right? If it would be covered in dried blood.
Not necessarily, because you could rinse it off, but it could still have hepatitis or HIV or whatever on it.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. But then at the same time, if I'm getting stabbed or shot in that dirty, horrible bathroom, when I fall to the ground, I could contract any of that anyway. Especially in a nightclub.
True. You just get peed on, someone will just step over you and pee on you.
But those things, I don't know. It's a stupid question, and you're an idiot.
Well, I said it was going to be a stupid question. I was completely honest.
Yeah, you were. That's fair. But it's a funny one because you said it is a stupid question, and it turns out there are pros and cons to each one.
Yeah. Stabbing.
So it's not a straight up decision whether you want to get.
Stabbing.
Okay, would you rather lose an arm or a leg?
See, I've thought about this long and hard. Stupidly, a leg. My left leg.
I would also rather lose a leg. Why your left one?
Because I can still drive if I have a right leg. You can if you drive if you have a left leg, but you have to get adapted cars. I can buy an automatic car and drive normally with my right leg, and I can still use my hands for my job. I can get a peg leg, and that's not the correct term. Prosthetic, that's the term.
A peg leg, yes.
I can get
be a pirate.
I can get a prosthetic, and
you could get an eye patch and a parrot as well. It'd be perfect for your pirate car. Then you could do the wacky race again, and you wouldn't even have to wear a costume because it'd be like, "Oh, look, it's a pirate," and you're like, "No, this is how I look now because I've been shot in one eye in the nightclub and I lost a leg."
Why did I get shot in the eye? I thought we were just wearing an eye patch.
I don't know. I thought I'd link it back to the other question.
Shot in the eye sounds really dangerous. There's important stuff behind there.
Well, people have survived shots to the eye.
They may have done, but I don't think I'd be a lucky one. I'd itch it too much. I'd get infected.
I think you would be the lucky one because I think everybody would be like, why couldn't he have died? Because now he doesn't shut up about the time he got shot in the eye.
Yeah, that would be. I would moan constantly. The thing is, for it to do serious damage to your brain, you need to have a brain.
Oh, we'll both be fine then. Why can't we both get shot in the eye?
I'd still like to be able to see. I have to wear glasses as it is, they're annoying enough.
I don't have to wear glasses.
This is a stupid point. My mum's actually blind in one eye.
Did anybody need to know that?
It is cheaper for her to buy glasses with a lens in the one side with nothing that does anything than it is to... Because obviously she needs glasses for her other eye. So, yeah, you can get a plain piece of glass put in rather than having the
Well, yeah, I know people who have that because
that
one eye
costs
works
more.
fine. That costs more?
It costs more. So with my mum's glasses, she has the same prescription in both lenses, even though one of them does nothing. Because it's cheapest to get the same prescription in both sides.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was more expensive to do that. I know people who have plain glass in one eye. Well, in one lens of the glasses, sorry.
Yeah,
the ones who have plain glass in one eye are actually blind in their eye because the glass has gone through their eye.
See, that's the... What was I going to say? Yeah, because putting the same lens in both sides, it's just a lot simpler. It's a lot easier process. It's the standard process. Whereas putting plain glass in becomes an issue. Obviously, if you've got perfect sight in one eye, you have to have plain glass. My mum doesn't. She can't see it. Well, she can see loose colour sort of thing. But yeah, she was
loose colour.
I think that's the best way she described it. She can see.
Okay, so
she can see
not
movement.
Colour that's nailed down to anything, not colour strapped to anything.
No,
not colour organised in little boxes, but loose colour.
If you held up a green ball and an orange ball, she'd see there's a green thing and an orange thing moving, but she wouldn't know it's being held up or what they are. It's just green and orange moving.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind next time I visit your mother.
The
I'll
scary
paint
one
one
is
of my
she can
balls green and
drive.
one of my balls orange.
The scary one is she can drive.
Well, one eye works fine.
You have no depth perception. I've watched her try and pour coffee. You've
But
got
you
to
don't.
stand
Well,
distance.
there are lots of aids around to help you with that, though.
Yes, there are.
Like, you don't need depth perception. Like, if you've got a line of different coloured posts, you don't need depth perception.
But when you're following a car in front, you need depth perception.
Yeah, but you also have the lines on the roads most places as well. And then if you don't have those, you can use objects surrounding you.
We've just
for
discussed
distance
I live in the
gauging as
country.
well.
She doesn't like driving at night because you can't see any of the objects around. But like,
Well, yeah, well, that would be the problem. But other than that, your depth perception is only important for other things.
see, in her car now, she's got like blind spot assist in the mirrors, so the mirrors flash up if there's a car nearby, which you can get on a lot of cars now. The one that always scares me though is when you're like turning to your left, you tend to look to your left to look in that mirror.
Yes.
She doesn't. I don't know what she does.
Really?
I think she just uses the force.
Or maybe she just doesn't check that mirror. It's just completely dangerous.
For her to be able to turn and see that mirror, she has to like completely turn her head a lot further than we do. Because
I'm
obviously,
trying it now. If you can hear my headset rumbling, I've
obviously-
closed my left eye.
because of your bipedal vision, you'd be surprised how much further you've
Yeah.
got to turn the head. But she
Well,
said,
there's a lamp off to my left here, and I'm testing with that. It's not a huge. To see it clearly, I have to.
but then what?
No, actually,
what,
yeah,
what
that's-
angle is
that's
the
a- that's a
lamp at?
big
You've got to
difference.
think of what the angle your mirrors are at in a car. They're quite far back in the grand scheme of things. But the thing is, when she learnt to drive, she had to make it look like she was looking at that mirror when she's doing a test sort of thing. Because obviously, you get taught to make it really obvious you're looking at the mirrors anyway. But she's literally just going.
You do, yeah.
She's just doing the action. She can't see
I felt
anything.
like a bobblehead during my car test. When I took a car test for Go Brum Brum. When I took the driving
That's
test,
so
I felt like
cursed.
a bobblehead because
Can't go brum brum.
I needed tests to travel the fast. My instructor said make it really obvious, and I passed on my first go. Interestingly enough,
I
but when she said make it really obvious, my instructor was sat in the back of the car for the exam as well. And when we finished, she leaned over and said, "I said obvious, but not that obvious." So I can only imagine what I must have looked like, sort of wangling my head around like crazy. I'm surprised I passed because it would have made it that obvious. I was like, they must have been like, how often is he looking at the road?
See, I failed my first driving test. I got one major failure, which was I didn't reverse far enough into the bay or at the end when I was parking. The thing is,
How does that constitute a major failure?
I don't know, because the wheels were inside the bay, it was just the front of the bumper wasn't in properly. But what makes it even more annoying is where I was reversing up to, there's no like wall or anything behind you, it's just a curb and then another road behind it. So you've got nothing to judge
No,
off.
nothing to gauge it on without a reversing camera or something.
Yeah, and
No,
I
that's really
passed
hard,
my driving
yeah.
test 10...
Thing is, if you'd
years
have gone
ago.
so far back that you hit the curb as well, you'd have failed then.
No, that had only been a minor.
That would.
In hindsight, I should have hit the curb.
Yeah, well,
But-
too late now. You took your second test.
But my second test, I was doing fine. And there's a dual carriageway in Plymouth, which is a 70 road, and it's like right through the middle of the city, so you always get on your test because it's quite an important part of getting around in Plymouth. And so I was sitting along it.
Travelling is important for getting around in Plymouth. You heard it here first, folks.
Shut up. I was poodling along down the A38 at like 60 mile an hour behind a lorry.
Piddling along.
I didn't want to overtake him because that's more chance for me to fail. I thought if I sit behind him nicely, he can't fail me for sitting behind nicely. And then
Did
he
he
went,
fail you for sitting behind nicely?
no. And then he went, oh, we've got plenty of time. You can overtake this guy in front. And I was like, okay, I could. And I just kept behind him, and he went, I think you should. And then he was just like, I think you should overtake this guy in front. I was like, it's an idea, but no. He went, overtake the guy in front. Damn it. But because he'd been insisting it so much, I got annoyed. So I just stamped my foot on the accelerator, hit the indicator, and turned out. I got
Oh, right, so you didn't check anything.
Well, I think I didn't get. I should have been amazed if he didn't check, but I knew there wasn't a car behind me because I was aware of my mirrors. As you know, when you're driving down the motorway, you're aware of what's happening around you anyway, aren't you?
I'm what?
And you're driving down the motorway, you're aware of what's happening around you, and you don't actually have to look in the mirror to know that there's a blue car 2 cars back, sort of thing, because you've been on that road for like 10 minutes, knowing what's around you, sort of thing, keeping your eye on the mirrors.
Yeah.
So I was like that. So I knew there wasn't anybody there. But I must have vaguely turned my head because I didn't get anything for not observing there. But what I got was accelerating before the overtake. That's a minor. Accelerating.
You're going to accelerate after the overtake.
Accelerating before indicating. Sorry, I missaid that. You should indicate first, then accelerate. So I got one for that. I then got one for getting too close before moving out. That was a minor. And I got one for not indicating or coming back in, and coming back in too aggressively. So too close. So basically I went, oh fuck this, and just fucking flicked around this car, went there lorry, so I went back and sort of
But now you do that without getting any marks.
Exactly. So. The thing is that I so nearly looked to it. Happy now I didn't. I managed to refrain myself, but I just wanted to go.
Actually, that's probably the most impressive part of this, because I know you as a petty and vindictive individual.
The thing is, now as a driver, I'm really relaxed. But I used to have to do 50 mile a day up and down the A38, which is a 2-lane road. It should be a motorway, but it's too expensive to make it motorway. But people can't drive on it because it's not a motorway. People don't drive on it properly, so I'll sit on the outside lane at 50 mile an hour, which is all well and good, except everybody is doing the speed limit, and I definitely wouldn't be doing over the speed limit sat in the outside lane trying to get to work on time because I'm running late. And you come around a bend and there's someone just sat on the outside lane. There's nothing on the inside lane. They're just sat on the outside lane, cruising along at 40 mile an hour. And you're like, oh crap! I'm going twice as quick as you. I mean, 30 mile an hour quicker than you. It used to happen all the time, and there'd be people overtaking without. They just wouldn't treat it as what was basically a motorway. It's a 70 mile an hour 2-lane road. It might as well be the motorway. The only thing that's missing is another lane and a hard shoulder, and the signs aren't blue.
So it could be a motorway if it was a motorway, is what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, but then you get. It's not like a 50 mile an hour road. It's 70. It's like 70 miles long of 70 mile an hour stretch. All the junctions are laid out like motorway junctions. It's not like you've got traffic lights or roundabouts halfway down it or anything like that. It's literally a straight artery road. And because I used to do that,
made you a relaxed driver?
No, because I used to do that every single day at 6 in the morning and then 8 on the way home. Tired from before work, stressed on the way home from work. You just get to the point where you just ignore everybody else's bullshit. Someone would cut
and start providing bullshit of your own.
Someone would cut me up, and I'd be like, I can't be asked to beep at you. I can't be asked to argue. It's too much hassle. It's. I
don't do that anyway. I get absolutely zero road rage.
I used to be quite bad for it, but now I just like, oh look, you've crashed in front of me.
Oh, sorry, I'm itchy. That's what the noise is.
Oh look, you've crashed in front of me, and I'm going to be late to work. Oh, you've crashed in front of me again on the way home. Somehow you've got a brand new car and crashed again, you idiots.
Please take your bloodied face and hands off my window whilst I drive home, accident victim. You're so selfish.
I had a highways agency worker that hit me with a cone once.
Oh, really?
Yep. You know when they do sat in their pickups, throwing the cones out the side to close the lane?
Yeah.
He was doing that. He dropped it to his mate. His mate dropped it in front of me. I have no idea how it didn't hit me and I didn't hit the barrier. It must have been a millimetre each side. But the thing is the guy next to me, the guy in the back was asleep, and because he's the lift share, obviously, and the guy next to me was wide awake, and he went, oh shit, and I just sort of went, just no reaction at all, just turned the wheel slightly and just kept going straight. And afterwards he was like, what? It's like there was no. I'd gone over the white line. I hit the grass. That's how much I had to move to not have this cone hit me. So obviously the mud flicked out all the back. The car made a horrible noise with all the dirt and stuff here. The guy in the back didn't even wake up because I didn't swerve that hard. I just casually moved over and casually moved back. He's like, you got hit by a cone. The thing
cool guys don't look back at the explosion, though, James. That's what this is.
It was like you almost got hit by the cone. I was just like, The thing is, the car behind me did get hit by the cone because he didn't move. He just went dump straight into this cone.
He was probably not watching and looking at you thinking, why the bloody hell's that guy just gone onto the grass? Oh,
shit,
ah!
See, the thing is, on hindsight, I was looking at selling that car anyway. Why didn't I hit it? Because I sold that car in the end for £500 Part X. It was insured at like £1,000. It was an absolute piece of shit. There was a dent in every panel and the clutch wasn't working properly. Which is why.
So now you regret not hitting the cone?
Yes, because if I'd hit the cone, I'd have got more money from my insurance.
Yeah, but would that not have increased your insurance premiums though?
Yeah, probably. But if the highways agency hit me with a cone, I am suing them for every penny they're worth.
Well, I suppose
I'm going to make a lot more money out of it than the insurance premium going up.
Are you one of those that would just sue for anything, though? Is that
No, I'm not
or
actually. But
just
if,
that specific
if
event?
a highways agency guy's being lazy and threw a cone at my car while I'm doing 50 mile an hour, I had to slow down for
Yeah,
that.
that's a bit unacceptable, actually. I'll.
That's a valid reason to sue.
Fair enough. I just didn't want to be associated with someone who'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to go into Tesco, spill milk on the floor, then slip on it." Oh, they're in for a right do.
See, the thing is I've been in multiple car crashes in my life. Some of them my fault. Some of them some of them expected because I've been off-roading or stuff like that and we've fallen over. That's kind of the point of it. The car's in a roll cage, whatever, so that's okay. But once I was in a mate's car and we hit a tree at about 70 mile an hour, side on. And that hurt.
Side on.
As in, so the car hit between the drivers and rear. The
How
driver's
did you
front door,
travel at
driver's rear
such
door.
velocity sideways?
Because we were sliding. Because he'd lost control. Well,
Oh, right, okay.
We started the slide at 70. We hit the tree within 20 yards. We might have been doing like 65 because we were going sideways, so you'd start to slow down a bit.
Yeah, obviously. The wheels don't go sideways on cars. That's something we can establish.
But
to
thankfully,
be common knowledge.
the tree hit directly between the two doors, the two driver's side doors, which is one of the strongest parts of the car. The guy I was driving with, he cracked a rib, dislocated his elbow, and punctured a lung. I bruised my kidneys, broke my nose, and got soft tissue damage to my right arm. And the guy behind me broke his ankle.
And then you hit the tree.
Yeah. And after I left that, I got a phone call from his insurance company, because obviously they got my details, and once we left hospital and all that lot, from his insurance company, asking if I wanted to claim for injury. No.
Interesting.
Why are you phoning me? But it turns out they phoned me directly because it's cheaper for them to deal with me direct and me to settle before going through a case than it is to get somebody else involved. Because somebody else involved, they're going to want paying, so they're going to ask for more money so they can get paid, and I'm going to get less, and they're going to have to pay more, sort of thing.
Okay.
I didn't because it was going to put my mate's insurance up, and let's face it, we were driving stupidly as teenagers.
So I do not wish to pursue this claim because it is my fault. Yes.
It wasn't my fault. I wasn't driving.
Well, no, but it was the fault of the driver then, I guess.
The scary one is we were supposed to be going in my Mini at the time, and if we'd gone in my Mini, I'd be dead right now. We hit that tree side on in a Mini, and that's it. Game over. The Skoda we were in bounced off the tree, hit the other side of the bank, and didn't roll. So I just slid down the road. It's completely destroyed. I've got pictures of it. I can show you.
That could have been it then. We could have not been having this conversation. We might never have met.
We'd have never met because it was before we met this. But yeah, in the Mini, it hit the tree and wrapped around it, and I'd have ended up on his lap. There's a bar on the back
in a couple of pieces probably as well.
There's a bar on the back of a seat, which I think is designed to take 5 ton of force impact. The one on his seat had bent 90 degrees. That's how hard we hit this tree. The tree didn't even move. It was a big, proper, massive, great oak tree. We took the bark off the side of it.
I don't think people appreciate just how hard it is to move a tree, though, do they? You know, you play some video games and you crash into a tree and it just
falls
snaps and
over.
rolls in front of your car. That doesn't happen. No, you hit a tree, that tree was going to win that fight, unless you're driving a massive tank.
And this was like a 4 foot wide solid tree as well.
Ugh.
We just smashed into it. It was so painful. It was so loud as well. Couldn't open the driver's door.
I don't think that the volume of the crash would have been my concern if I was there.
This is what makes it worse. Is guess how long
I'm going to wake the neighbours by being so injured.
Guess how long he'd been driving?
2 days.
7.
7, wow. Okay,
7 days.
now, interestingly enough, I worked with a guy who passed his test, and his reward, the condition of him getting a car was him passing the test on the first go. His parents said, if you pass first time, we'll buy you a car. So he was talking about that for weeks, building up to the test. Day of the test arrives, he passes. A few days later, he goes to the... Sorry, can you hear the cat rustling in his litter tray there?
I couldn't until you mentioned it, now I can.
Yeah, come on, you can do it. Oh, bless him. He's so old.
Stop watching your cat have a shit and keep going.
No, I have to keep an eye on him. He's so old and poorly. So day of the test arrives, he passes, and then they go to the dealership and he gets a car and he's all swaggering about with his new car and on his first day coming to work in it. He's, saying, "Did you see my car? Did you see my car? Oh, my car's out there." The next day he walks to work. And But most of us just assumed he'd drank too much the night before and didn't want to risk it because he only lived like 3-4 minutes drive away, so like 5-10 minute walk, or 10-15 minutes, whatever. And he walks to work, and nobody really asked anything until somebody came in for the night shift and said, "Hey, I can't remember his name. Where's your car? You're not in your car. Where's all your fancy car? Where's your car? Ooh, where's your car?" And he just didn't really say anything about it. He just sort of looked at the floor, and that was when we cottoned on something had gone wrong.
Instantly, everybody goes, "Ooh!"
Yeah, and then everyone's attention is on this missing car. So we all start formulating theories and making stuff up. It got robbed. He was bragging about it, and somebody robbed it. And others, all sorts of things. And then eventually he's like, "Well, no. The truth is, I crashed it on my way home from work that day."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I've got a good one on that actually. 16. I turned 16. I go down to do my CBT. Do that, all that lot, everything like that. Comes to lunchtime, so you do, for those who haven't done a CBT, in the morning you've got to drive around a car park and all that lot, you do a bit of theory stuff. In the afternoon you've got to go for a drive on the road. Now there was 4 of us doing the CBT, but the instructor could only take 2 of us out at a time. So what we said was 2 people have lunch, 2 people go for the drive, and then we can swap over. But the ones that have already been for the drive, once they'd finished, could go home. There's no point staying for lunch to then go home. And we were discussing who's going to go first in that lot. And because it was my birthday, and the moment I finished my CBT, I was going to pick my moped up. So they said, "Right, you can go first." Great, fair enough. So I do my CBT, all that lot. I pass it fine. For those of you that haven't done it, it's almost impossible to fail a CBT. I've had friends drop a bike on their CBT and still pass.
Wow.
It's that stupid. Because it's not teaching you how to ride, it's teaching you how to be safe. That's the idea behind a CBT. And so I went and got my moped, my little 50cc thing, proper chicken chaser. And I rode it home and all that lot. And I showed my mum and I showed my stepdad. I went, "Hey, look, an amazing bike." I went, "I'm going to go show everybody I know." As everyone does when they first get a bike. So I went to see my cousins who were bikers. So we had a look at that, all that lot. And then I went to go to my nan's, which is where I live now. On the way into my nan's...
And you crashed into that spare PlayStation, yeah?
No, on the way into my nan's street, I turned into the street, dropped the bike. As the CBT guy rides past. And basically what happened is I hit a white light. My birthday's Saturday. So, no, it's not this Saturday, it's Saturday week. Anyway, it's the 12th of December. So obviously it's wet. And white lines on a bike when in the wet are lethal. The bike would step out instantly. And everybody had told me this, but me being the 16-year-old thought, I'm better than everybody else. I'm not going to drop it when I go over some white lines. I went over to...
It's not going to happen to me. That's such a you thing to do, that.
So I went
Even now, I imagine you would do something like that.
No, I've dropped enough bikes to know it bloody hurts. I'm not going to do it anymore.
I don't mean dropping bikes, just something like that. Yeah. Something that everybody warns you against, and you just go, "That's because you're not."
I'm the person that touches wet paint.
Yeah,
or someone says caution hot. Ooh, that's hot.
Caution hot. I'll be the judge of that.
When you're in a restaurant and someone brings a plate to you, careful, the plate's hot. Alright, I'm your back at the plate's hot.
Here's something. I'm just going to bring attention to that, actually. That's something my brother did. Another story about my brother. I think we were in Pizza Hut or something
Andy?
like that.
Andy, is he called?
Andy, yeah, that's right. You're listening, Andy. I know you're listening.
Hi, Andy and Lloyd.
Story. Yeah, hi, Andy and Lloyd again. Weekly shout out. We were in Pizza Hut, I think, and the food came over, and the waitress said, "Don't touch the pan." You know, they get a deep pan pizza, come in the pan. Don't touch the pan, it's hot. Less than half a second later, it's
Yeah, that's
immediately touched it. Don't touch it. Well, I'm going to touch it now, aren't I? Don't tell me not to touch it. I have to touch it then. Don't slap your brother, Andy.
The worst one for me is wet paint.
You know, he's a reasonably intelligent man, my brother is. But when he was younger, like me, we were morons. Absolute morons. I'm surprised we've grown up to be the balanced human beings that we are, because some of the things that we did just are not balanced human being things. But then maybe we can attribute that to the fact that we are balanced growing up. We tried the things we weren't supposed to do. And it turns out you're not supposed to do them for a good reason, so now we know better.
I have a horrible, bad story on this. I don't know how I got through, but basically when I was younger I was looking at potentially going to the RAF as an officer. And I was going I was going to do their...
Even the thought of that worries me. Please don't ever pursue that.
I was going to do their sixth form. which is hyper competitive to get into. There's like 60 places a year. And I was doing really well. And I ended up going to RAF Cranwell, which is officer training, to do my next stage of interview. Now, anything to do with the military like that, they give you a train. Give you a train ticket and you've got to go up there. So I'm sat in, not Paddington, the other one, Victoria, I think? I don't know, one of the big stations in London. I'm sat on a bench in my suit, all that lot, because you've got to wear a suit because it's the officers and everything. And in front of me, there's a bright yellow bollard that says wet paint do not touch.
Oh, no.
So I touched. Turns out, because it's at a train station outside, it's the sort of paint designed to be really
Yeah, I was going to say
water
it's
resistant.
really, really thick and viscous.
I'm doing the interview and I've got my hand in my pocket the whole time. And one of the guys said, and I was writing something, and I was trying to move a bit of paper, trying to change page and then like signing bits. And he was like, "Why are you using your other hand? Is there a problem?" And I went, "No." It must have been something in my voice. He went, "It's not a disability, is it?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Show me your hand." "No." He's like, Show me your hand. Fucking bright yellow. Bright yellow with the bits that weren't yellow were red because I've been scrubbing so hard. He was like, "What did you do?"
Oh.
I lied. I said I grabbed
At
it.
what point does that get classified as a disability? You know, not being able to resist touching something that says wet paint on it. Why did you touch it with your whole hand as well? You didn't just poke it with your finger and think, oh, yeah.
Because I poked it and the bit I poked was dry, so then I grabbed it.
Oh, no.
The bit I poked was like, that was dry, but the rest of it was.
Oh, that's horrible.
The thing is, because I've been scrubbing it so
I take
much
it that's
as well.
why you are not an officer for the RAF now.
No, actually, as it happens, I passed that interview.
Really?
Well, what I said, I didn't tell him I poked the thing I wasn't supposed to poke it. I told him as I was coming through the station, I put my hand on a handrail and there was paint on it. That's why it was all over my hand as well.
Oh, no, you got away with it by lying. That's totally believable. I hate how believable that is as well. And you just say, "Oh, the wet paint sign was further down the rail. I hadn't seen
I
it
said
yet
we
because I
were
was walking
in-
behind people."
I said I was in Paddington. It's a busy station. I just must have missed the sign.
Yeah.
He said there were so many people.
I hate how feasible it is for that to be the truth, but the fact is you were just a fucking idiot and thought, wet paint, oh, we'll see how long ago this sign was put up.
Yeah, but the thing is that this is actually, it was just a ridiculous weekend, this. Because that was the Friday, Saturday. So I came back on the Saturday. I then went to a house party. Oh no, it was to a birthday party. It was supposed to be in a social hall, but the social hall was closed, so we ended up going to a different social hall. But it turns out the other social hall was for like a for deaf people, like a place where they go and hang out, like a social club basically for deaf people. So
I'd never heard of that.
I hate you so much. So they had, like this hall had been split
I'm
in half.
grinning so much right now.
I know you are. I'm just ignoring it. So they split this hall in half. So we had the party one side and they had the party the other side, but there's only one smoking area. Now, I don't know sign language, but I tried with a bright yellow hand still, because I still hadn't got the paint on.
Oh, your high visibility sign language. You're catering for all sort of needs there.
But it's okay now, because at this point I'm in a banana costume, because it was a fancy dress party. Carrying my suit bag, I had my passport in there, I had my MacBook in there, I had my iPad in there, all the fucking anything I had that would be useful in an interview was in there, with a suit bag, with like 3 different suits, because I've been away all weekend. Which is also when you go to the officer training and they're looking at your luggage and they realise there's a banana costume at the back. So, I went to the party with that lot. This is a banana. Are you okay? Do you need a minute?
I just wasn't expecting the banana costume. And I don't know why.
Well, the best thing of one of those at a party is...
Oh, at this point, by the way, I was in a banana costume, because obviously.
Well, in a banana costume, I don't know if you know, but the little dangly bit is really good to stash the bottle of tea in.
Dangly bit.
The bottom bit of the banana. But so we were at this party. And
The dangly bit of the banana.
see, this party wasn't particularly good. So we bought a bottle of tequila. So every now and again, I'd go to people, reach into my dangly bit, and pull out a bottle of tequila, do some shots, put the bottle back in, and walk off again with my yellow hand. Now, this led to me getting extremely intoxicated. And I had the bright idea of walking home. Well, it turns out it was like a 5-mile walk. I'd been away all weekend. I was carrying a suit, my passport, any form of ID I had. I had my laptop on me, my iPad on me, because they were useful for interview things. So I just start walking home, get to the end of the street and fall over. Right. And it's one of those... I know you don't drink, so you might not know this much. It's one of those when you're proper drunk and you try to stand up and you put all your weight to throwing yourself forwards and you just fall sideways and you just can't do it. The legs, the hip leg things have just stopped. I was like, right, fuck, I'm in the middle of the road. I know. I'll phone my mum. Mum can pick me up
in a banana costume.
Yeah, in a banana costume. Mum can pick me up. I explained where I was. Turns out that wasn't where I explained completely wrong.
Mum, I fell out the fruit bowl and I'm in the middle of the road. Please help.
I told her I was in a place called Manadon. I wasn't. I was in a place called Manamead.
Oh, okay.
I was on
That's an easy mistake to make.
I was on Manadon Road in Manamead when I should... Yeah, that's what I was on. And I told her I was on Manamead Road in Manadon, which turns out doesn't exist. But my mum started driving, so she got off there and went, what the fuck does he mean? But this is a by the by. Because I passed out at this point. Now...
Oh.
The very nice police officers that stopped because I was in a banana costume with my yellow hand passed out on the side of the road woke me up and got me to unlock my phone so they could phone the last person I phoned to try and find out who I was or anything like that. So in the phone, they look at it and they go, right, the last person phoned was Mum. So
Perfect, right?
My mum gets a phone call saying, hello, Mum, this is WPC, whatever her name was. I've got your... I assume son
I've got your banana
passed out in the middle of the road. He's got a suit bag on him and a laptop, which I'd apparently taken my laptop out of the bag for whatever reason.
I'll send an email to my mum to help me.
Might have been my logic. He's just leant against a tree on the end of Manadon Road in Manamead.
Just a banana sending an SOS email in the middle of the road. Nothing to see here.
So she was like, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Those police people stayed because I was slurring and I was completely wrecked. I just said it was just a crap party, so I just basically drank a bottle of tequila, which is a really bad idea.
How would that make a party better?
I forgot how bad a party it was. I was having fun.
I mean, you could have just started singing Peanut Butter Jelly Time.
I did. I know I did that. I definitely did that. Every time I wore that banana costume, I did that. It's more than one occasion.
There were more times you wore a banana costume. Oh my god!
But
you know what? That's it. We've reached the end. James multiple times in his life has worn a banana costume, and one time he was passed out in the road.
I've not finished my story
laptop.
yet. There's more to it.
Oh my god! Okay.
I said I was going to throw up, so the very nice police lady gave me a bag, which was an evidence bag because that's the only disposable bags that police ladies have on them. I don't think police lady's the correct term, is it?
But, well, I mean, there's a lady and a police officer, it's fine.
She gave me this evidence bag to throw up in. So I was holding it in front of me. Mum turns up. They put all my stuff in the back of the car. It then takes the three of them to get me in the car because my legs still aren't working. They just stop. Just like, at the hip, it just stopped. It was like, stand up. So they help me stand up and let go and I just fall over again. I'm like, ow. Ow. So they got me in the car.
It's all made funnier by the image of it being in a banana costume.
With a bright yellow hand.
It could have looked like you tried to paint your body to match your costume as well. So you could have even lied about the yellow hand at that point.
I think I did, to be honest.
I was going to paint it, but then I used the wrong sort of body paint and I was stuck with the yellow hand. I hate that that's feasible also. How many people did you get away with the fact that you had just been so stupid as to touch a wet bollard?
To this day, we never found the evidence bag. We've sold the car since then. I got in the car holding it. I didn't throw up.
Is there not the possibility that the police dealt with
No,
that?
because Mum said I had it with me. I didn't throw up in it.
Oh.
I hadn't thrown up. I just had the bag just in case I was going to throw up.
Do you still have the banana costume?
Yes.
And have you worn it since then?
Yes.
Okay, I was just wondering, was it in the dangly bit of the banana?
It could be. There was a bottle. The thing is the best thing is while the police were talking to me, the bottle of tequila was still in there. What was left of it.
They didn't search the
Because
dangly bit.
next time I put the banana costume on, I almost knocked myself out. Because there was a...
Oh, you're gonna kill me off.
So the next time I did it was to run the Sports Relief Mile. We did 6 mile running. And we got there, I put the costume on, almost like, what the fuck is this? I went, oh, a bottle of tequila. So we then did a 6 mile run for charity. Pissed as fuck, because there was still tequila there.
For God's sake. The tequila strikes again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been Words from Our Mouths, where we have said many a word from our mouths, and not a lot of it makes sense.
But it does have a yellow hand involved.
I do hope you'll join us again next time, if that story hasn't scared you off.
This one is probably coming out on Sunday, and we're going to change our release date to Sunday from now on.
I did not know that. There's some admin I didn't
You were
know.
in the conversation when we discussed it, Pete.
I don't remember things.
We decided Sunday's a good day for people to listen to podcasts because they're doing Sunday day things.
But the reality is you can listen to this whatever day you want. Don't feel pressured into listening to it on Sundays.
Very good point. So, good night.
Good night.